background noise, we can't hear.
Okay.
Do you know how to mute everybody?
I do, and I just turned.
Now you muted yourself.
That's the best if I'm muted. Let me tell you that.
You should be able to go to participants.
I know
And
how
when
to
you go to participants, you can hit mute all.
all. There.
And now unmute me. Okay, so everybody can unmute themselves. Oops, somebody's coming in. Yes. Okay, sorry, my husband needed to know what oil to put in his ear. Okay, real life going on, right? So, okay, yes, I am Renee Stump. I am a presidential diamond. I have been with It Works for about 3.5 years. I have a brain that likes the compensation plan, so, and I'm pretty detail oriented, just a little. So I know a lot of the details and I catch a lot of the details. So yes, I get tagged in everything usually 2 or 3 times before I can actually get to the post and answer the question. But I'm here to share. So I joined late December 2012. I actually saw it on Facebook for months. I hid one of my upline, who eventually became one of my uplines. Kind of a crazy thing. But I gave this thing 30 days. I joined, this is my 9th MLM. So I've been a failure 8 times before. And they were all basically retail-based MLMs. If you know, I sold like scrapbooking things, I've sold kitchen things, I've sold, you know, all that kind of stuff. Those are basically retail. This is a real residual business, and that's why I love this compensation plan. So I joined, I gave this thing 30 days. I said, I'm an all or nothing kind of girl. I have an on and an off switch. There's nothing quite in between. And so in 30 days, just over 30 days, I went diamond. I didn't even know what that meant. I was excited. I basically wrapped anybody who would let me wrap them. And the 2 people on my team wanted to help, and they both wanted to go to the next level. And my upline had a contest where if you enrolled 5 distributors and you got them fast started, you made $300. And I got that. I understood how to get $300 and the fast starts from the company. So it was $800. And if you have 5 people on your team do that in the same month, you're diamond. Okay. So that was how I did that. I went double in 3 months, triple in 4, and prize in 8. So I had quite a quick rise. I didn't still probably quite understand what we were doing. I love my enroller, but she was a diamond when I joined, and so she didn't really understand a whole lot. And she's not detailed. If you ever meet her, Beth Mansell, she's awesome, but she likes to ask me questions too. So I spent a lot of time on the phone with customer service and reading the comp plan. And yes, I have read the policies and procedures more than once. So somebody has to. So, okay, this is the compensation plan. If you guys have never actually seen it before, this is actually a document in your eSuite. You guys can all download it and read it. I'll shake your head, yes, you can. It's there and it's awesome. What I will show you is it's like, whatever, 19 or 20 pages long. There's like 5 pages that you need to read. They're like the cheat sheets, okay? So I'm going to tell you what those page numbers are. Those are the only pages I'm going to show you tonight. If you read these pages, you will understand the entire thing. And a little secret, if you want to just hang up now, everything I'm going to say, all wrapped up into one, is if you do the steps to success and you rank to the next rank every time, you will unlock the entire compensation plan. There is no magic. There is nothing I'm going to tell you that somehow makes you $1 million. I can promise you there are people in the top 10 who do not have a clue and have never read this. And what do? They do the steps to success. They fast start people on their team. They keep enrolling, and they make gobs and gobs and gobs of money. So we can end right there. Everybody can walk. No.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks so much. No.
Exactly. I promise you there is no like incredible secret that I'm going to tell you, but I will explain to you why they make that much money and how your focus is important. You can make that much money. And I know these 2 presidentials, so I know if you guys are all on their team and if you're on my team, I'm a place to promote girls, so we'll say that right now. It's a big, giant monopoly game for adults, but it has a business and it has money attached. So fill the boxes. Don't draw in boxes. Place where you need to place. Use what you need to use. Get where you need to go. Period. So comp plan. Yay. This little green paper. You guys are going to love it. I'm going to start with page 2 of the compensation plan. It says your first 30 days. We always know everybody's first 30 days is really important. And why that is really important is getting their first 4 active, eligible, loyal customers. And I'm going to go over this even though you guys are all diamond and above and you all understand this, because active and eligible has changed and it has become extremely important. Active and eligible is now linked to every bonus that we have. And there are people who have missed really big bonuses because they did not have 4 active, eligible, loyal customers. So this is where I'm going to show you how you figure this out. There is no magic. There is no magical report. There is no magical number you can look at that's going to guarantee that you have 4 active, eligible, loyal customers. This is going to take a little research on your part to make sure that this is right, but it's worth it, especially if there's a bonus involved. So corporate will tell you, I've asked and repeatedly said, is this number, can we guarantee? Can we look at this number and can we guarantee? Can I screenshot this one? No. Okay. So follow me. Every loyal customer needs to be active and they need to be eligible. It used to be called qualified, but now they've got this eligible, non-eligible thing. Okay. Eligible loyal customers means they do not share an address with any other loyal customer or distributor in the system. When they first are enrolled, for the first hour or so, they're all going to say not eligible. Every single one of them defaults to not eligible. So if you enroll a loyal customer, especially your newbies, they get all excited and they're literally like refreshing on their screen, waiting for that loyal customer to show up. And it's going to say not eligible. And then we have an hour and a half freak out until it like flips to eligible. So just tell them it's okay. It defaults to that. The system is going to check it against all the other addresses in the system. And if it's eligible, it'll switch. So step away from the e-suite and come back later. Okay. Now, if it's a couple hours later and it still says not eligible, that means they share an address with another loyal customer or distributor in the system. Yikes. Okay. So they still count for volume, but they're not going to count for bonuses or 120 product credit, which we have 30 days for anybody who enrolls by the end of this month, but that's going away. So they have to be eligible. You can fight that if you say, there is no way somebody at this address was ever a loyal customer before. Maybe they rent, they happen to move into a house where somebody else lived previously. People will tell me, oh, but I've done it and it worked. You know, I've got my husband as a loyal customer and I've got my sister-in-law and we all live in the same house. It worked. Great. Awesome. Go for it. If I was you, I wouldn't trust it. Okay. Because if you get $150,000 bonus next year, they're going to go through and manually check it. And if it's not right, don't come crying to me. Okay. So you can try to, I always say, it's like kind of cheating the system. You can try to cheat the system and it might work and it might not. So just have 4 unique loyal customers with unique addresses and don't mess with it. Get somebody to buy some fat fighters, you know, keep that loyal customer if you need to. I'm kind of telling people keep 5 or 6. Now, little ones, you know, if you're a title box, like keep a little one here and there. Somebody buys coconut oil or some chews, just keep it. You don't need that someplace else. So you've got that. Now, active. This is the harder part, okay? Active loyal customer means they have either paid the $50 membership fee, they're within their first 3 months, and they had an actual order shipped that month, not decline, okay? And they didn't postpone it a month. You know how they can kind of have that grace period and they can move it up a month. They did not move it up. Or they had finished their 3 months and they did not switch to distributor nor cancel their account. Okay? So they're still showing active in the system. What happens is that little word active, even if that LC declines, does not change to inactive until the next month. Okay? So system is expecting that they're going to place an auto ship order that month. It's going to leave them as active until the entire month is over. And then the system looks and says, wait, they didn't have an order last month. Therefore, now we need to make them inactive. Okay. So you're looking at it on the 31st. It says active, but if they did not have an auto ship order actually run come the 1st or the 2nd, the system's going to catch it and make them inactive. And this is where people are having a problem, okay? Now, if the person switches to distributor, you actually have 10 days, or actually you have till like the 15th to replace that person. So they give you a little window of 10 days there, where if I've got somebody who switches to distributor month end, they're an LC of mine, they flip to DT, I don't have to replace that LC right then and there, but I do have to replace them basically during that next, before I get paid to keep them have an active loyal customer. I need to replace them. So I just tell people replace them right away, because as we know, life happens, a couple days go by, you forget you were supposed to replace them. Just do it as quickly as you can. And that's why somehow keeping that 5th or 6th LC, especially when you're running for a bonus, may just be worth it, okay? Because this is a really big deal. Okay, so the main report that I have been told that you can possibly trust for this is the dashboard, which is when you first log into your eSuite, that very first main page, you know how you can click down to the right on the performance overview, and it's basically a small version of your organizational explorer. It says your name, your volume, your paid as rank, you know, that kind of stuff. You can flip it back different months. If you go down to the bottom, it says active loyal customers and has a little question mark. If you ever have a question of what that means, there's a little question mark you can click on, and it gives you the definition of an active, eligible loyal customer. And so that tends to be the closest report. But again, if somebody declines, the system doesn't actually update until the next month, because it then checks to make sure whether they had one. So now, one good thing is if somebody ever pays the $50 membership fee, as long as they don't cancel or become a distributor, it's done. You don't have to, it's, you know, they're an active loyal customer for life. So it's almost like if you're running for a big bonus and you need a couple more loyal customers, find somebody to pay the $50 membership fee, because you don't have to worry about declines or nothing. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I just had a lot of words. So
There's a lot of words.
A lot of words.
Important words, though. That's a huge thing, and especially with the bonuses, especially like with the Ruby bonus, when you have to have 4 active loyal customers, and that's what a lot of people are going for. We need to know how to count that. So that's great information. All right, onward.
Okay, so that was a lot. That was the.
Actually, I have a question, Renee.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask a question? So if you don't get your first 4 loyal customers in your first 30 days, can you never qualify for bonus?
Only the Ruby is connected to your first 30 days.
Okay.
Everything else, I mean, right now we don't have anything else, but, you know, in our previous months, this year is when they made it 4, and everything else was just that you needed to have it. So, you know, when I first joined, I had 4 in my first 30 days. I had 2 of them flipped to distributor, and I never replaced them for a long time. And then we had the 2 good that came up, and so I kept 2. So then I had 4 again because I kept 2 for that. And so then I actually had 4. So and that's why a lot of the leaders are kind of getting caught up in that and didn't really realize that was going on, because we all kind of had 4, but then people canceled, you know, or people flipped to distributor and then they needed to be replaced, and it never mattered before as long as you had 2. And now you got to have 4. So.
Okay.
I also have a question.
Yeah.
Does it have to be entered as an auto ship order, or can it can be just a one-time order and that counts?
If they pay the $50, you mean, like, and they do that, then it counts.
No, like let's say they've completed their 3 months, they turn their auto ship off. It's been 2 months since they've ordered, and they're not active then, right?
Nope, they're still active.
Oh, they are.
Once you're a loyal customer and you complete your 3 months, you are considered active for life. The only thing that changes that is physically canceling your account, like calling and saying, I want my account canceled, or becoming a distributor and going on LC lockout. And if anybody doesn't know what LC lockout is, LC lockout actually like protects their account. So if they ever like stop being a distributor, they can go back and become a loyal customer, and they don't have to do the 3 months. Instead of like canceling their account. That's what that means. Most people don't use it. Most people just say cancel my account, but that's the reason for that.
Renee,
sorry. So did you guys get that? Active does not mean they actively order that month unless they're in their first 3 months, and then they have to have actually placed an order. But after they finish their 3 months, they can turn off their auto ship. They cannot have ordered for 3 years. None of my loyal customers have ordered in years. they're all considered still active.
I have a question about the LC lockout.
Mm-hmm.
So I called in and talked to a couple people in the compensation department because we have a leader who was going for a promotion, and 2 of those, like her first 4, upgraded to distributor and were put on LC lockout, but they still count as 4.
They're
So
supposed to, but
okay.
I have seen it work and I have seen it not. So it's one of those, I would rather just replace them than try to fight with the compensation plan department about it. But technically by the rules, the LC lockout, if it doesn't actually cancel, should count as one of your 4, because technically they already finished. You can't get the LC lockout if you're in your first 3 months. So if it's somebody who does 1 month and then they cancel, they want to flip to distributor, they get canceled. But if they've done their 3 months and then they flip, they technically are eligible for the LC lockout, and they should still count as an active loyal customer. But it doesn't always. But yes, you are correct. If you get
I just wanted to double check that, because I was like you, were like I had 4, but then 2 of them canceled and upgraded, so they show cancel. So the LC lockout threw me for a loop.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. A lot of times our people flip before they've done their 3 orders. That's usually what happens, is that people do a month, oh my gosh, I love it, and switch. I was one of those. I did 1 month as an LC and then I flipped to DT. So more often than not, that's what happens, and people get confused thinking they should still count. So I just say it's almost like they just don't count. Don't try to find it. Like I said, keep just that fighter.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, should we go on to cabs, or what do you think's next?
She's like, tell me about the cabs.
Everybody wants to know about cabs, don't we? Raise your hand if you
Yeah.
want to know about cabs. Yes, right?
Okay, we can totally do cabs. So cabs are on page, if you're following this, page 12. It says diamond bonus, this little box on here, diamond bonus payout for each level. And then you can also see it on page 16. This is actually all the diamond bonuses. It gives you the generational bonuses and the cabs. So I like this page because it's got both of them on there, and this is where the money is. Okay. So on page 16, this is my favorite. So if you go across the bottom, it has diamond bonus, and it says 80, 40, 15, 10, and 5. Okay. Our entire compensation plan is based on you being paid based on the rank that you are. You are paid farther in depth or more based on your rank. Okay, so the higher the rank, the higher the amount you unlock of the compensation plan. And that's why we always say get to diamond as fast as you can, and then get to ambassador as fast as you can, because each time you do that, you're unlocking the compensation plan. Still working on that, ambassador. Okay, so cab bonuses. We call them cabs. If you read the compensation plan, they're called leadership level bonuses. I don't know why they changed the name on us, because we're all just still going to call them cabs. Okay, so what happens when a cab is they want you, after you reach a leadership level, to continue enrolling. They don't want you to go diamond and sit back and do nothing. So they gave people an incentive to keep enrolling. And so that's where you get, it's called a customer acquisition bonus is what it was. And so you go diamond, you're so excited, and the next morning you enroll a distributor. And when you enroll that distributor, they basically get stamped with your name on them by whatever rank you're at, okay? This is not everybody on your team. It's not like it goes around and stamps everybody that was previously on your team. It's anybody you enroll after you've got that, like, a diamond name on your forehead, okay? We all walk around with a big D. Everybody gets your stamp from that point forward. So you enroll a distributor, they are stamped as you as diamond. Whoever's name was there before is now gone. It has your name. Now, there's can be a different person's name for diamond, double, triple, prez, and ambassador. It can have all different names. It can have all one name. Because if you're a double and you enroll somebody, you would be the double and the diamond, okay? If you guys don't know where this is, if you go under your organizational explorer and you go on your one and you go all the way down to the bottom, not quite the bottom, the orders are at the bottom, halfway down, it'll say your leadership level, and it has coding, and it'll have the names of the people who got paid when you fast started, okay? Cabs are different than fast starts in the way that when you have a fast start bonus, you get paid when the person sets up an 80 BV auto ship or reaches 150 PBV in their first 30 days. Cabs, the auto ship has to actually run or they hit 150 PBB. Okay. Cabs are paid on your commissions. Fast starts are paid weekly. Okay. So if you have to wait for the auto ship to actually run, you could enroll somebody 1 month, the auto ship runs the next month, then you wouldn't actually be paid until the 15th of the following month. So cab payouts are really like 2 months later. Okay. Whereas opposed to the fast start, you could have gotten like the very first week because they got their 2 LCs like day 2, you know, you could have gotten it 2 weeks later. Your auto ship doesn't run for 30 days. You're not paid for the next month. Everybody follow me on that? Mm-hmm. So fast starts, auto ship set up, cabs, auto ships have to actually run or hit 150 PBB. And when they changed that, a lot of people like freaked out. And I was like, woohoo, we have control over cabs, okay? Before you had to get somebody to, actually before it was just auto ships had to run. You know, you didn't have a choice. If somebody's auto ship declined or they didn't set it up, you did not get paid. There was nothing you can do. And now we literally can write ourselves checks because you can get somebody to 150 PBB as long as they're not canceled. It can happen. So the only difference is going to be is that if you get somebody to 150 PBB before their auto ship runs, like within the previous calendar month, you get your cab paid out that month. Okay, somebody enrolls on the 15th, they get to 150 PBB and their 2 LCs before month end, you will be paid that immediate next month. You don't have to wait for the auto ship to run. Okay. Now, this is where it gets confusing, and Deb was going to ask me about reports. If you're trying to track your cabs, and I will tell you, I have done this, and I will tell you the only time you ever have to really look for it, if you want to track your cabs, go for it. It can take some hours to do, especially when you get lots of coding out there. I have never known corporate to be wrong, okay? I have challenged them because I was sure, and then they show it to me, and I'm like, oh, you're right. Okay. So it's called the leadership level report or leadership level by period, okay? So leadership level is your coding for the lifetime that you have been coded to people. The leadership level by period is everybody you potentially can be paid for during this commission period, okay? The only issue is, and I like to export it. So I export this report to Excel, and I can look at it, and I can delete everybody who didn't get fast started in 30 days. It has a little X in the box. If there's an X, they did not get fast started in 30 days. If it's over the 30-day mark, delete them, okay?
And you can do that when you export it, is what you're saying.
Yep, I export it, and then I just go through and I sort it by that column, and then I just delete everybody that doesn't have a check mark in that box.
Okay.
Because you know they passed their 30 days, nothing you can do about it now.
Right.
Okay. The next thing you're going to want to do is check anybody you've already been paid on, because they'd still be on that report if their auto ship was going to run that month. Although if they reached 150 PBB the month before, you've already been paid on them. Okay. So you can go to your commissions report, take off everybody you've already been paid on. Okay. And then you need to go and anybody who you think you were supposed to be paid on. I usually run this after I get my commissions to verify, okay? And if you're doing it after your commissions and you see somebody you weren't paid on, go and make sure their auto ship actually run and didn't decline. Because in that little column, it'll say auto ships 80 PV. It doesn't tell you if it declined. So you go and check. I'll be like, oh, that one declined. That's why I wasn't paid on it, okay? So, but if you say have a loyal customer and you want to give it to somebody, you know, you've got your 4. You guys may teach the same I do. I teach fast start all your personally enrolled, fast start anybody else on your team, and then place for volume from the top down.
Right.
So if all your personally enrolled fast starts are easy. I know who all those people are. I know I'm going to fast start them. If then I have an extra LC, I'm going to go run that report, but I'm going to sort it by the date, and I'm going to find somebody who's close to their 30 days, who already has 1 loyal customer and has an auto ship set up. Now, one thing that's really cool is some months, the auto ship may have already run before technically the 32nd day. So if you have a month that has 30 days in it, okay, I get asked this one a lot. Technically, it's 32 days in the system. Now, if you talk to a customer service rep and you have to contest something, they will literally run an app that tells them when the 30 days is. So it doesn't work to contest them. But the system technically allows for 32 days because When we enroll, it automatically sets up our auto ship for the same calendar day the next month. Okay. And on a month that has 31 days, that's technically day 32 if you count day 1 as enrollment. Did I totally lose everybody there?
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. You all got it.
Okay. So the same calendar day the next month on a month with 30 days is going to technically be the 31st day. If it's on a month with 31 days, it will be the 32nd day. So the auto ship is really running on the 32nd day. Okay. And so, but on a month with 30 days, it's technically running on the 31st day. So if you can find one of those that is already, their auto ship is already run and they only have one loyal customer, you'll give them that loyal customer, you're guaranteed that cab.
Well,
Are they following?
Yeah, and so I know Liz has mentioned to me too before that, like if you are cabbed to them more than just diamond, like double,
Right.
triple, whatever,
Okay.
that's another, and so
Yeah.
you're going to get to that probably.
Yeah. So you can also, when you look at your report, this kind of freaks everybody out the first time they look at that leadership level report. It automatically comes up as like all the diamond cabs,
Right.
and all the double cabs, and all the triple cabs. So the first time you look at it, you're like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be a presidential cab to this person, and all it shows is diamond. You just have to sort it different. If you sort it by ID number, you'll see them on there 4 times if they're presidential cab to you. It puts them on there as diamond, as double, as
So
triple.
sort by
president.
ID number is what you're saying then?
I sort it by ID number, and then it automatically puts all their coding together.
Okay.
But as a default, it's sorted, I think, by like enrollment day. And so, which doesn't really mean much to me. Like I automatically just click on the ID because I'm looking for that.
Okay.
The other thing is to check if you know of anybody, if you can get them to 150 PBV. Now, normally one LC isn't going to get them that close to 150 PBV, where the second one's going to get them over. But if you really want to go investigating, anybody who mini boosted, that could be 60. So this, one LC could get them close to 150, and then your second LC could put them over. And then it doesn't matter if the auto ship runs or not. You automatically are going to get paid.
Okay.
So that's another little thing to look for.
Okay.
When you're doing that. Okay. So that's that report. And I was going to tell you the only time I've ever seen corporate mess this up, and it's not really their mess up, is if you guys have ever had a distributor enroll and they end up on the wrong website and you have to go find them. You got to put in a support ticket, you got to call customer service, you got to call your band, and you have to go grab them and pull them back and get them put in the right place. A lot of times they will forget to fix the coding.
Mm-hmm.
They change the enroller, they change the placement, all of that's good, but the coding sometimes gets missed getting changed. And if that person enrolls and they enroll somebody and they enroll somebody, that coding can continue to be wrong. So if you ever have a distributor who ends up in La La Land and has to get grabbed and brought back, just quickly go check your Org Explorer and make sure that that coding is correct.
Okay, so I have a question. I feel confident that I've told people wrong, so I just want to just cover this now. So when someone is at a rank and they lose rank, because I think everybody's going to be like, yeah, I want to know what that is. How do they and when do they get paid on those cabs when they've lost rank, but then they regain it?
Okay, great question. So coding, no matter what your lifetime rank is always your coding. So if you were presidential and you lost rank all the way down to, say, Ruby, I don't know if that's happened to you, but say you're all the way back down to Ruby, and you enroll somebody, that person is still coded to you as presidential, triple, double, diamond, okay? As soon as you reach any of those previous ranks, so say you just get to diamond, anybody who was supposed to pay out that month, so if they reach 150 PBV the month you weren't paid as, it wouldn't do it. But if the auto ship runs and they reach 150, whatever was supposed to normally be paid out that month, you are paid if you're based on your paid as rank. They don't pay out what you missed, but anything that was supposed to be paid that month will be paid out as your rank. So if somebody, say, presidential coded, their lost total rank, they get back to diamond 1 month, they would be paid as all those people, but only as the diamond pay. They would only get the $80. And say they got back to double the next month. Anybody who was supposed to be paid would be paid as the diamond and the double. They get back to triple, then they would get the coding. But the actual coding, like the stamp that goes on people, is based on lifetime rank. It's never based as paid on rank. Paid as rank.
So the month that they
Does that make sense?
The month they've lost rank, they really don't ever recoup that.
No.
Okay. Then
No, it's called
I
breakage.
was told
just
that
as-
I was wrong, obviously. So, okay. Just don't
Yep.
lose rank. That's the key.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And so it's one of those things that if you do lose rank, it's actually like an incentive as you're pushing to get your rank back, because you're still gaining all of that coding. So if you push really hard for the next month and you enroll a bunch of people, you can have like a huge paycheck, probably bigger than what it was when you first were at that rank, because now you're going to have all this coding that's there when you get there. So that's one of the reasons if people lose rank, instead of ever quitting and like people are like, it was bad, I want to start over, I want to get my 120 product again. I hope you guys have ever had something. I want to get the Ruby bonus, but they have paid as diamond at one point. It's like, no. If you're going to rebuild with your coding, because that coding continues. And we didn't talk about this yet, but like, okay, so you enrolled that person when you went diamond and they're coded to you as diamond. They got that stamp on you. So you get the $100 because you enrolled them, and you get the $80 because they're paid as diamond. When they enroll somebody the next day, that person gets the $100 fast start, but you get the 80. And that person enrolls somebody and you get the 80. And that person enrolls somebody and you get the 80. And that person enrolls somebody and you get the 80. And it just keeps going and going and going. So if you're pushing back to a rank, you're going to be tremendously building your coding along the way. And once you get there, it's like, bam, it's all going to just start paying again.
And I think the key too, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like people lose sight of fast starting people. Like, do whatever you can do to get those people fast started, right? Don't you think, Renee?
I teach over and over on my team. I say this, I don't know how many times a day. Fast start your personally enrolled. Fast start anybody else on your team that needs it. And people are like, why wouldn't I keep the LC?
Right.
I'm not getting paid $100. I'm keeping the LC. That is so short-sighted, because who cares? I mean, before diamond, you're thinking, oh, I want that 10%. But you not only have you made your new distributor happy because, they got their $100 bonus, and now you've got a really excited distributor, but you've also taught them that this is how we work. This is duplicatable. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden you get to diamond and you realize, oh my gosh, you better fast start all your people. But you didn't teach them to do that before by your actions. You kept all your loyal customers. So they're going to be like, no, you didn't teach this before. All of a sudden you're switching now that you're getting paid. So no, you've got to have that foresight to teach it correctly so that it's duplicatable. We know this is all about duplication, and they're only going to do what you did.
Right.
And so if the money is huge, I mean, I make more when somebody fast starts somebody else than when I would just fast start somebody. If I fast start somebody, it's $100, but the cab on somebody who's coded to me is $145.
Mm-hmm.
So other people enrolling people, it's like 145, 145, 145, 145. We hear about cab runs. If anybody knows a lot of the black diamonds that got where they are, they had gigantic cab runs, and the cabs can be not thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. Some of them have $50,000, $60,000 in cabs, because that coding just goes on and on and on and on. I know some of my team was coded to Carla. She's 400 people above me. People were still coded to Carla because it just goes all the way down. It just keeps going.
But when you think about that if you have a Fab Fighter loyal customer and you can place that one person to fast start somebody that already has one, and you're going to just give them a, 23 BV loyal customer, that could make lots of money for you. So this whole cruise points thing, we've had a lot of that kind of conversation with people are like, I know, Renee, I knew you're going to do that. Like, well, I think I should just keep them. I'm like, you can do what you want, but no, don't. I mean, you got to look past that, right?
Enroll distributors, get them their 4 loyal customers, and build rubies is going to make you have way, way, way more cruise points than ever keeping an LC.
Right.
Tremendously more. I mean, you get 500 points when your distributor gets their 4, and you only got 400 if you kept those same 4 loyal customers.
Right.
So it's always better to help somebody else. And it goes down to the basics of this business. If you can understand that the more people you help make money, the more money you make.
Right.
I help somebody go Ruby. I'm going to make money. I help somebody go Ruby, I'm going to get on the cruise. It's better to, you know, help somebody go Ruby than it almost is to like make yourself an emerald.
Yep.
You know, like it's always going to help you get where you want to go, but sometimes you have to help the people underneath you get where they want to go before you can get there. And you just got to keep duplicating that. So fast start your personally enrolled, fast start anybody else on your team that needs fast started, and then place for volume from the top down.
Right.
So I have a question. If you don't get that personally enrolled person fast start qualified and they start signing distributors and you're cab to them, do you not get the cab bonus on all of those?
You do. They don't have to be fast start qualified for the coding to continue.
Okay.
They won't get paid. You know, like if they're not fast start qualified themselves and they enroll people, they won't get paid. Now, usually what happens is somebody doesn't get fast start qualified in their first 30 days. So you didn't earn the fast start bonus and you didn't earn the cab. But then all of a sudden they, you know, 60 days in, they're like, oh my gosh, I get this. Then they get a distributor and then they're getting their own bonuses. People don't generally stay not fast start qualified is what I'm saying. But because they didn't do it in 30, you missed out on that. But yes, the coding stays no matter what.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have a question on that?
Do cabs make sense to you guys more? I mean, I know my team, we all are like, well, cabs makes us want to vomit. What do you think? Everybody good with cabs? Have you got that in your heads? Yeah? Nod.
Do you guys understand how it's like it continues going and it's just on the people you enroll, and then say you enrolled somebody and they were diamond coded to you, that coding doesn't change until somebody goes diamond, and it's only the people they enroll from that point forward. So usually they've got two strong legs that are continuing to go, and it's only like that third leg they start building that actually gets coded to them. It just kind of keeps going. It only offshoots a little.
So Rachel, are your questions answered? Because I think I've told you wrong. So Rachel, are you good? Hello? She's frozen in time.
Yes, I'm good.
You're good. Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anything else about cabs? I mean, and maybe just tell on the report where to find those, because I don't know that everybody knows that.
On the report, it's the leadership level by period report. Is
On
what
the preliminary commissions.
Oh, yeah. On your commissions, it says diamond bonus, double diamond bonus, triple diamond bonus. That's where it's listed. And they're all going to be listed separately.
Right.
So if you're coded, 4 different ways, it's kind of like the report. It's listed 4 different times.
Yeah.
So people will always say like, it's $120 if you're double diamond coded to somebody. No, it's actually 80 and 40. Okay. It's separate. So, it's the same thing with gens. People will try to say 9%. And I'm like, no, you're never going to find 9% on your check, but we'll do that next.
All right, we may as well go to Jen's if you all are there. Do you all know? I mean, she'll explain generation bonuses, which blows my head up because I still don't get it. I've seen it and read it and bleh. It's like
She's watched videos.
So that's all I know.
Okay, one last call on the cabs. Anybody got any questions on the cabs? Because Jen's is like a whole new ball game.
And don't ask Deb because I don't know. Don't ask. Because I'm like totally just ignorant about that.
Well, we'll teach somebody. Hopefully, we'll teach somebody on your team tonight, and they can get your question answered, or just tag me.
Yeah, and Jessie Simon, I think, has got it going on. She's figured it out. So,
okay. So, right. Anybody on the cabs before we move on?
All right, let's
go.
We're
good. Okay, last call on that. Okay, so this same page 16, if you look up higher, this is your generations, okay? And I'm going to talk real quickly on this, and I want you guys to understand this very first point. When you enrolled, you were a distributor, you were paid on level 1 and level 2, okay? Levels are totally different than generationals, okay? And everybody tries to make them the same as far as where the numbers go, okay? So when you are looking at levels, I am level 0, and my first distributor is level 1, and their distributor is level 2, and their distributor is level 3. So as a distributor, I'm paid in depth based on my rank, so I'm paid on level 1 and level 2. And when I go executive, I add level 3. When I go Ruby, I add level 4. You guys all know this part, okay? Everybody shake your head. You got this? Now I'm going to show you how gens are similar but different in the definition. If I am a mom, I am my first generation, and I have a baby, she becomes my second generation. My grandkids are my third generation. The generations are different. Generations, you are your generation 1. Your first diamond in depth of a leg is generation 2. The next diamond is generation 3. And it works the same way as the levels as far as you are paid in depth based on your rank. People are always like, oh my gosh, if somebody meets my rank, I don't get paid on them. No, you're paid in depth based on your rank. And based on our compensation plan, there's almost always a place that you're not paid. Okay? Just get over it. Okay? Especially as your team gets bigger. When you're a Ruby, you can be paid on your whole team. When you're a Diamond, you can be paid on your whole team. Once you go presidential, you are not being paid on your whole team. I hate to break it to you. Okay? And that's a good thing. You're going to have your team grow to the point that it builds you stability, not necessarily is paying you. And that's why another thing you'll hear me say, volume doesn't matter. You guys hear me when I say this. Don't go to any of your upline and say, but my volume went up 50,000 and my paycheck didn't. After you go Diamond, volume is about stability and maintenance. It does not have anything to do with your check. Right? We'll go over that at the end if you guys have questions.
That again.
But, okay. It's crazy. Like my volume this year has gone up $100,000 every month. 100,000 PV every month it has gone up. But my check has gone up like $500 every month. Okay. There's no equal. It's not like a 1=1 ratio. My volume goes up, therefore my check goes up. When you're a Ruby, that happened. And that's why it kind of trained us. When you were an executive, your volume went up. Wow, I got paid more. When I was a Ruby, my volume went up, I got paid more. But because we're only paid in depth based on our rank, there's a volume that's way, way, way down deep that builds stability and helps us maintain with volume, but we're not actually paid that far in depth of our team because we're really not involved in that far in depth on our team, okay? We're paid based on probably the people we're working with. We're working with those top leaders. We're working a few levels down. You're probably not working every day with the person on your 27th level. Okay. So they put that in the comp plan because there has to be a point that you're not actually paid on. But let's go back to generational. So you're paid in depth based on your rank. If you're a Diamond, you get paid on generation 1, which is you as a Diamond. When you're a double Diamond, you add generation 2. When you're a triple Diamond, you add generation 3. When you're presidential, you add generation 4. When you're an ambassador, you add generation 5. And after that, you don't get it. Okay? So you're paid potentially 5 diamonds in depth, or actually 4 diamonds in depth underneath you in each leg. Everybody follow me on how that's different than levels and how you're labeling it. So it's 4 diamonds stacked in depth.
Okay.
And it's only diamonds. A lot of people will say, oh, but I have this person's 17 levels down. And I'll say, I don't really care what level they're on. Where are they as far as diamonds on your team? And usually, oh, they're my first diamond in that leg. But they're 17 levels down. And that's why I'll place anywhere. Cream rises to the top. Those diamonds are going to rise to the top. You're probably not going to have more than 4 stacked diamonds in a single leg unless you just have a giant monster leg, and that rocks. Okay? That builds stability, so that's good. Mm-hmm. But probably doesn't happen very often until you're probably after ambassador that you really have more than 4 or so diamonds straight down stacked in a leg. Okay? So, okay, did everybody get that? Because that's important before we start going into how you calculate them.
I get it.
I'm not sure that I'm getting that.
Okay. So imagine a chart, like a Ruby chart, but only fill in the people who are diamond on your team. And I've got this drawn out, and I'll show you. This person is a presidential diamond.
This will help you, Crystal, to watch this. This makes sense to me.
This is a presidential diamond. So a pres has a triple, a double, and 2 single diamonds, right? So this is generation 1. You is the presidential. Generation 2 is the first diamond in the depth of each leg. Generation 3 would be this person's double, and they're 2 singles because they're a triple. They're a double, so they only have 1 diamond underneath them, so they're on Gen 3. Now this person, because they're double diamond, fits into Gen 4. Okay. Do you guys follow me? This is just this is a presidential diamond chart only using diamonds.
Does that make sense to everybody? Nod. Like, I mean, I think that helps a lot to see that line thing.
And this is what I do to figure it out. I draw it out every month. And I'll show you a picture of my team drawn out.
And that works for whatever rank you are. I mean, if you're
right.
double or, yeah.
So if you're just a diamond, you're only paid on generation 1. When you reach double diamond, you're paid on generation 2. Triple diamond, you paid generation 3. Generation 4 is a prez, and generation 5 is an ambassador. And the percentages are just on there. So it's 2% on Gen 1, 4 on Gen 2, 2, 1, 1. Okay.
Okay, and maybe this isn't where I need to ask this question. This might not be have to do with this, but let's say you have a diamond, personally enrolled diamond, who loses rank. That really affects your check.
Yes. And what I'll say is, okay, this is a perfect chart. Okay. This is like, you first go presidential, your chart looks like this. Charts get messy. If you guys have been in for more than 1 month at a rank, you understand charts get messy. So I'm going to show you this. This is a triple diamond. So they have a double, a single, and a single. And then this one's got straight diamonds going down. And then this one's got a diamond underneath them. Okay. Does everybody follow me on here? So this is a little different. This person's a triple, so they're not going to be paid on that generation 4. So they're not paid on this person. And what I'm going to show you is this person has 20,000 in volume. Can you guys see this? This person's got 20,000 in volume. This person has 15,000 and this person has 10. Because basically this person has most of the volume. This person's maintaining with balance and this person's maintaining with balance. So they only have 5,000 outside of the diamond underneath them. Did you guys catch that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when this diamond popped, it made all these gens go down. Because these people don't really have a full 10,000 outside of the diamond underneath them. They're just maintaining with balance. Okay. And this is why sometimes the first time people all stack, you'll see your check kind of take a little dip. And then as things get messy, your check will go back up. So kind of like the first time you reach a rank or the first time somebody underneath you reaches a rank, everybody has just barely enough. Everything's all in the right spots and it's just barely there. And that's why we give averages, because the just barely there is never good. Like it's never the money you want to see. It's when it gets messy and things start changing as you're building for the next rank, that's when things are messy, that your check will start to climb. And then sometimes when you hit that rank, you're like, oh, that's big. And then all of a sudden it kind of feels like it takes a dip and then it goes back up as it gets messy. Okay. So is this making sense?
It does to me. Y'all, does it make sense to you? Yeah?
Okay. Now, one of the things people will always say is personally enrolled diamonds make you the most money. Because like we talked about, it goes 2, 4, 2, 1, 1. But if this guy right here, who we crossed off, was personally enrolled, you'd get 5% bonus on him just because he's there. Nothing to do with where he falls, okay? They could be generation 20. If they're personally enrolled, you get an extra 5% on their volume. One of the things we need to talk about is, what do you mean by on their volume? And generation bonuses are based on something called PBGV. This is a new term. Y'all didn't understand what a PV and a GV and whatever was when you first got started. And now you do. This is a new one you have to learn. It's called PBGV. It's personal bonus group volume. What that means is the diamond's volume minus the diamond's volume underneath them. Any diamonds they have underneath them. Okay? So when somebody's a double and they're underneath you, you're getting paid basically on their emerald. You're getting paid that, all that bonus volume is on that emerald. It's all that stuff outside of their diamond. And that's when all of a sudden, oh, my check's really cool. I love it when people are double diamond. That's awesome. Okay. The person goes triple. Now they got 3 stacked diamonds across the top. They're like, you could be being paid on their 2 400 boxes. Okay. You're like, wait a minute. That's a little different. That's where I said when checks are new and everything's perfect, sometimes you'll see your check kind of go down. But I always remember, as that person was building, if you were cabbed to them, you were making money. Because as they were enrolling, they're coded to you, so your check was going up. So there's always a balance. As it goes up, as they're building, you're getting cabs. When they get there, sometimes your gens might go down. As they're building again, things start changing. So there's always a place that it's going up and it's going down. And that's, if you're continuing to build, your check's going to always keep creeping up. And that's why we always say, check your check like year to year, not month to month, because it'll freak you out.
Yeah.
If you go check line item by line item. Okay. So it's that PBGV. And that's why, like this guy I was saying, you're paid on the volume outside. So he's got 10,000. This one's got 15. This one's got 20. So you're paid 4% of the 5,000, plus that person's personally enrolled, so you get an additional 5%. This one's not personally enrolled, so you're only going to get paid 2% of the 5,000. And this one is, if you were Prez, you would be paid the full 1% on that person's 10,000. I feel like
the key is still steps to success, honestly.
I'm sorry?
I said the key still is steps to success. Personally enroll people, keep working, don't do management mode. Just
fast start them. Yeah, you just still do your steps to success, because what do? After you've got your 4 loyals, you enroll 3 people, you give your loyals to them, and you fast start them. You enroll 3 people, really steps to success should be 3 and 6 if we want to get exact. And
obviously it reinforces place them to promote, because you're still gonna, as long as you're personally enrolling them, you're still going to get paid on them, as long as you,
exactly. And that's why placement, people always say, well, why should I place on an executive way down when I'm trying to go triple, or when I'm trying to go, why don't I keep everything on my top 2 levels? Because the cream rises to the top. I found a girl who's going to be, she just went diamond, she'll be a double for my ambassador. She's on a leg that was long since gone. She actually messaged me and said, hey, you don't know me, but I'm on your team. And I'm like, you are? And she's like on level 17 on a leg that had canceled and had quit, that I thought just had, like, they had been double diamond. So it had, 3,000-4,000 in volume, and it kind of seemed to stay there. I just assumed the LCs were still ordering. I wasn't really down in the depth of the leg. I had no distributors on that leg still working. I thought it was her that kept putting in some volume, and she was basically like this messy thing that had never been a ruby, but was basically almost filled for emerald because nobody was teaching her. And so she went diamond in April, and she'll be probably double this month. So sometimes you got to go down there and find those people that are working. Be sure you're checking your downline activity report for those new things. When somebody's in a roller and you don't know their name, go look them up and be excited about them, even if you got layered leadership in there. But if you don't have, you'll find that diamond in the rough that doesn't have some leadership in between you, and you can go grab them and use that stuff. So
exactly.
Okay.
Rockstar's already in your downline, as Major always says.
Exactly. So do generationals make sense?
Kind of.
Draw it out.
Do you all get it? Does that generational thing make sense? Jesse, does that make sense to you? Yeah.
If you don't draw it out, it doesn't ever make sense. It's kind of like the first time you looked at a Ruby chart, but you had no names to put in it. It didn't make any sense. But as you got to put names in your Ruby chart, it makes sense. So once you start drawing out your generationals, it starts.
Jesse, would that help you, I think, if you put names in it? Does that make sense to you, do you think?
Yeah, totally. That chart helps a lot.
Oh, yeah. I think, and the fact that you can change it, because it will change. Like you said, when the month gets so different.
This is mine a couple months ago. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like, it's a mess, but it's all there.
I have one question about the gens. Are gens paid on lifetime rank or current rank?
You're paid in depth based on your paid as rank. So yeah, it's paid as.
But
so
like if you have a someone on your generation 2 that was diamond, but now they're paid as ruby, are they considered your first diamond in that leg, or does it drop down to the next diamond?
It drops down to the next diamond.
That's good.
It changes every month.
Okay,
so
good.
As people gain and lose rank, your generationals are gonna change a lot.
Okay, good.
So keeping your personally enrolled, and this is where everybody says personally enrolled diamonds is where the money is at. More of those people that are personally enrolled, because somebody might be in the 1% generational level down on, Gen 3 or 4 or 4 or 5. And then, but if they're personally enrolled, you're getting 6%. If they're on your top line, it's a full 9%. Now, it's in a different line item on your commission. So when you go look at your commissions, it'll say generation bonus, and you'll see level, it'll say Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, however many generations you have. Then there's another line item that says generation enroller bonus. So you never will find 9% or 7% or any of that kind of stuff on your check. The extra 5% is a different line item, but it still works out to be 9%.
Okay.
Rachel and Mandy, all of you guys, does that make sense to you guys? Kelsey, do you all get it? Yeah? Yep. Crystal, you good? Got it? Okay, good. Okay. I think that graph, I think that picture helps. I mean, for me, I'm a visual person. I really feel like when I saw you did that, I was like, oh, it makes more sense to me. So I hope that you all originally got a lot from that.
Who originally did that was Ashley Sinclair. When I first joined Cloud9, Ashley Sinclair has a video. If you search way down in depth there, you can find it. It's only on there though. Like, she doesn't have it on YouTube or anything. So like, it was this special secret find I found. And it's like her sitting on her bed. You can see her toes in the video. Kristen, do you remember that toes video? And you can see her, and she drew it out, and it was like a lightning bolt for me. I was like, yes, I get it now. But it's been one of those places that like can't be shared. So it was really hard to explain it to our team. So I kind of had to start drawing it out myself.
Well, I appreciate it because that makes more sense to me now that I see it for the third time now.
You got to just start drawing it out yourself, I promise. And so, if you start drawing it out, check with somebody on your team who might understand. If they don't understand, they can find me and send it to me. I've actually done people's on the escape on some of the leadership pages. I'll figure it out right there in the thread for you.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes it can be really beneficial to help somebody get back to Diamond. If you've got a personally enrolled and she's close to maintaining and she needs $1,000 to maintain, and you're thinking, gosh, that's a lot of money. It could pay you enough to do it. Split it with her and you each do $500. It could be paying you $700, $800, some $2,000 if she gets back to maintaining. So definitely work those numbers. And I will only say one thing. Don't message me at 11:53 on month end trying to figure it out, because I will have had way too much wine by that point and it won't be right.
Yeah. But that is a struggle, because I've had a few of those, and you wonder, do I help them maintain? You just never know I want to help them, but do I want to help them myself?
It still has to be a business decision. You've got to figure out if you're going to make some money off of it, and really for people, I'll tell them, like, if you're going to maintain and it's within a couple $100, go for it, because you're going to have basically free product. Even if it's like going to make you $500 and you got to spend $500, you're literally getting $500 worth of free product.
Right.
So a lot of times it's worth it, but usually it's more. Usually if they're personally enrolled, it's going to be a good chunk of change to get there. So definitely figure those out. Yeah. I'm not saying go to your upline and say, please, help me maintain. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
Do not do that. But, working it out with them and working together, it's mutually beneficial for both sides. Anybody have questions on generationals? And I got two other little things.
Renee, could you hold up that chart that you drew with the levels again? I just want to snap a picture quick so I can draw my own.
Yeah, this is the clean one. Can you see all of it?
A little bit. Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's so helpful.
I knew that'd be a Jessie picture for sure. I knew it.
Recreate that.
You will. You will be doing that for sure.
I said, just start drawing it out. I promise you, all of a sudden you'll, feel free if you draw it out and you're like, I don't think this is right. Send me a picture of it.
I will.
And it is like a Ruby chart. It's the same thing. When you finally have names to put in there, then it makes sense. But when you don't, it's like, I don't get this. But yeah, so I think
exactly.
It's so helpful.
And all of this is the same. People just all of a sudden, we sometimes get to a leadership level and we're like, it's just too much information. But it was like that when we first joined, you were like, I don't know what a PB, GB, I don't know what that is, but now it's like, we talk like that and other people look at us like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So any other questions on gens? I don't want anybody to have gotten lost and totally not understand. Oh. Okay. 2 last quick things. Does everybody understand compression?
I bet not.
Okay. compression is, we kind of talked about it in the generationals, where in the fact of if somebody's not paid as that rank, it moves up. So anytime people do not have to be canceled for them to basically move up. Charts never change, but commissions do. So if you've got somebody on your team and they're way down in depth, and there's, you know, non-commission qualified people on level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, this person's on level 6. Sorry. You can look at your commissions under levels, and you can see it'll say somebody is level 6, paid as level 1. People don't have to be canceled. It just happens when they're not commission qualified. So having somebody commission qualified can definitely change your check. My husband, for example, was once diamond. He has a total rock star underneath him. They'll be presidential any day now. And 1 month, I got a huge LC, and I had no place to put it. We were in the middle of a big event, and I was like, I'm just going to throw it under my husband because it was enough. It was like over 150. I'm like, it'll make him commission qualified. Well, he hasn't gotten a check in a long time because he's been like ranked distributor. Now, I'll throw it under there. It'll be fun. He'll just get a paycheck, you know. We thought that would be good. Well, it pushed all the levels down underneath that triple. And my check went down by about $1,200 by making him commission qualified. And we like called that LC and we're like, please tell me you're not running your auto ship again. You're going to change that for like wraps, right? You know? So yeah. So as people gain and lose commission qualification, it can change your level bonus dramatically. And so I don't know if you ever talked to Madra, but if somebody on her team is not working and they're just sitting there collecting a check, she will tell them to turn that auto ship off because it will change your check. Okay, if somebody's just sitting back collecting a check, if you're personally run by her, you might get a call that says, turn that off. So does everybody understand how it compresses up, but charts don't change? And this is one reason, I don't know if you guys teach this, but I don't ever teach to give somebody 2 distributors until they've enrolled somebody. Because if I enroll somebody and then I give them a distributor and I give them a second distributor and that first distributor cancels, you are now stuck with 1 distributor that means nothing. Like, because you can only use 1 line. The chart, it's not all of a sudden like 2 people are on your top line. You can only use 1 of them. Everybody get that? Charts don't compress, only commissions do. You'll still paid on that person, but you can't actually use them for a title box, an executive, or Ruby, or something like that.
Yep.
Are we good on compression?
I think it still confuses
Yeah,
me.
I totally get that. It's almost like a wasted distributor, somebody that's misplaced in your chart. Yes. Right. And then people feel left behind. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that they're, you know, they can build, they can do, you know, whatever, but they're not like needed if the person next to them is working too. Like if both of them start working and somebody cancels. So I try to never give somebody 2. I'd rather stack them 4 deep and let them get a second distributor. And then I'll give them their 4th, like, because they've now enrolled. They showed me they're enrolling. So I'll give somebody their 1st and their 4th, but I won't give them their 2nd and 3rd.
Right.
Everybody follow me on that?
Yes.
Make sure they're working before you give them 2. Unless it's month end and you're trying to promote, then all bets are off. I tell Alicia knows that I've told my team that all the time. All these rules about who you fast start and what you do and where you place LCs and where you place DTs are great until it's after the 28th, and then all bets are off if you're promoting that month.
Yeah.
I will make a Ruby. Okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. We're building rubies. That's all I'm doing right now. Right, Kristen?
Exactly.
We're building rubies.
Okay, so the last thing is maintenance. Does everybody know how to maintain and how to figure out how to maintain?
Do you want Renee to go over that? I know I get a lot of questions of that at month end. Does everybody know that? Do you want her to go over it? Go over it. Go over it.
Go over it. Okay. So maintenance is you can only take half of the volume needed to maintain from 1 leg. That leg can have all kinds of volume, but you can only use 50% from that 1 leg. So if you're trying to maintain diamond, it's 10,000 PV. You can only use 5,000 from that 1 leg, but you can have it from all the rest of them. Now you can have 2,000 from every leg, and that's fine as long as you get to 10,000. But what you do is to say you're at 10,000 or you're at 12,000, okay? And your strongest leg, say, is at 7,000. You would subtract the 12,000 from the 7,000. You'd have 5,000, so you would be a diamond. but say you've got 12,000 and your strongest leg is 8,000, you've only got 4,000 outside of that leg. You still need 1,000 from the weak side in order to get back to diamond, in order to maintain. So what I do is always take my total GV and subtract the strongest leg, and then I subtract that from whatever I need to maintain, and as long as it's a negative number, you're good. Okay? Usually it's not, and that's why you're trying to figure it out, and that's how much you need to go back to maintain. So I don't like it. Some people will say add up legs 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, add up everything and then subtract that from 5,000, make sure it's at 5,000. That doesn't work because your PBV is involved too. And sometimes you've got like miscellaneous junk that's outside of strong legs that you forget about. So always take your GV and subtract the strongest leg and make sure it's at least 5,000 or at least 1250 if you're trying to maintain double. Although I'll give you a little clue, double is like almost impossible to maintain on volume. It's always easier to maintain with boxes because a double is a diamond and an emerald, and a diamond is 10,000 to maintain, and an emerald is 8,000 to maintain. That's only 18,000. That's not 25,000. So, and one thing is people can maintain rank after the first time they reach it. So if you're going diamond and somebody already has been emerald underneath you, that emerald can use maintenance and you can make the ruby with 400 boxes. It's a combination. So as long as that person gets to that rank, it can always be a combination. One part can maintain with volume, one part can be boxes. So you always kind of have to figure it out when you're close to maintaining. Is it cheaper to do with volume or is it easier to do with boxes? Sometimes it's easier to do with boxes, especially if you're when you get to the higher ranks to like double and triple, if people under you are maintaining themselves. And sometimes you just have to fill in a couple 400 boxes at the top and you can get there. So
I think the thing that always comes up every month, and I bet every person on my team will nod, is the commission qualified when you're maintaining. Who needs to be commission qualified? That's the hard part for us, I think.
Only the person maintaining.
But like a box, a 400 box. They don't have to be commission qualified. They just have to have 400.
400 boxes never have to be commission qualified, ever. Only title boxes have to be commission qualified. And if you're maintaining with volume, nobody has to be commission qualified underneath you. Right. I could maintain presidential as long as there were 100,000 in volume balanced and not a single person underneath me would have to be commission qualified.
Yeah. With volume, I always get it. But with boxes, it's always like,
well, with boxes, they have to be. Like with boxes, it's titles, but it can be a combination. So like, say I was going to maintain, I'm technically maintaining with boxes in my head because like if I didn't have the volume, but like my triple could be maintaining with volume. My double could be with boxes. The diamond could be with boxes. The other diamond could be with volume. Like it can be a whole combination messy thing. Once people have reached a rank, it can be one or the other or any title combination. Now, of course, we know Ruby can be maintained now, but that's boxes. Don't even ever look at Ruby maintenance.
But so like a diamond top line, those top line boxes, 400 boxes, they don't have to be commission qualified. They just have to be 400.
Right. 400 boxes don't technically have to be active. Did I totally blow your mind there?
Yes, don't do that to me.
400 boxes can be canceled. This is a question I get every single month. 400 boxes can be canceled as long as they reach 400 GV by themselves. You cannot move anything to a 400 box. So if they've got loyal customers under them that are still running before that, that were enrolled before they canceled and they cancel, it still counts as a qualified leg as long as they reach 400 on their own. Now, if they've got a distributor underneath them, say you got a distributor who's at the top and they cancel, they've got 200 PV and LCs that run. There's already a distributor underneath them. You can't move something to them after they're canceled, but say you already had a stacked distributor there. That distributor enrolls 2 loyal customers, gets to 200, which would make the top box 400. It counts as a qualified leg. Y'all get that?
I get it. I get it right this minute, but like at month end, I won't get it.
Yeah, because it's confusing. So just everybody asks me. I think, I don't know, Kristen, how many times do I answer that question at month end? Like, it's always like, it counts. But you can't move anything there. And now we used to be able to, and this was a little tweak, which may be why they took it away, used to be able to use a referral link and force an LC to go above 400, but now we don't have the referral link anymore.
So if we had a box that we moved volume to make it 400 and went through, they probably just didn't catch it?
They probably weren't officially canceled in the system.
That could be too. Yeah. I haven't tried anybody that's ever canceled. But okay, so just if it was a canceled box and if it organically grows to 400, you're okay still.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Technically, the policy says that there must be at least one active distributor in the leg.
Okay.
But this is kind of one of those, like the 32-day rules. The system works.
Okay.
Even if there's not an active distributor there. If you ever go to contest it because there was like a problem and an order didn't go through and you need it, you're probably not going to get away with it. But if you just get it to happen, it'll work.
Perfect.
Okay, so I have a question. If that top line distributor cancels and then you have a distributor in their downline, can you move volume to the downline to make that a 400 box? Okay.
You can do whatever you want to an active box, even if that causes, the canceled box to go over 400. However, you can get that canceled box over 400,
right?
Use some of that volume. So if you ever know you've got a distributor in a spot, maybe just on your top line, and they're getting close to cancellation, either for non-renewal or something, and they've still got a few LCs that run, put a DT there. Don't start a new leg.
Yeah.
I always say just stack them, because if they're not commission qualified, you're still paid as, you could have 20 distributors in depth, and if they're all not commission qualified, but they all have LCs, they're all paid as level 1. You know what I mean? You'd be level 7 paid as level 1, level 6 paid as level 1, level 5 paid as level 1, because they're not commission qualified. So it all compresses up. It's not like it compresses because none of them are commission qualified. So they're all going to be paid as level 1. So stacking is never a bad thing, especially because people eventually cancel or quit or whatever. Don't start new legs. If there's any volume in that leg at all, stack a DT there.
This is kind of a naive question. Sorry, I'm the creeper in the dark with my baby. So how would you know what's in that box if they've canceled? How do you know? Like you said, it could still be a 400 box, but there's loyal customers in there. If they've canceled, how do you?
In TreeView, I go into TreeView and look and see what they've got projected to run.
So they're still in there in TreeView, or even if it's been like a year and they cancel their account.
You have to click it, include inactives. This is a little trick. If you ever go into TreeView and a whole leg is missing, it's because the top box is canceled. If you click include inactives, the whole leg will show up again. If the top person's canceled and you've got 400 distributors underneath there, if you look in TreeView and you don't click that box, that whole leg is gone. So it's like an auto thing. I wish it just defaulted to that, but you have to just click include inactives.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I always check and I just keep a running total. Usually this is like top line boxes. Normally it's your top line. Your fourth leg, your 400 box, your fifth leg, your 400 box. And you're coming around to the next promotion, and oh my gosh, this person hasn't renewed. Am I going to be able to use them or not? Kind of a thing. It's that weird month end that happens. Do I have to replace that box or not? So growth there, move some volume early in the month. The system actually just caught up with that. I don't know if anybody noticed that the other day, all of a sudden, like all of our numbers went crazy down because basically they hadn't canceled anybody in like 2 months for non-renewal. And all of a sudden the system caught it and they canceled everybody. So a lot of people's dashboard on their app, their DT numbers went dramatically down because everybody who had non-renewed all of a sudden canceled in one day. So but technically the system cancels somebody officially at 60 days from non-renewal. And then they actually have those additional 30 days that they could still renew with customer service or with a BAM. So you technically have 90 days past non-renewal. But you will show canceled at 60 days. And for the next 30, you can still renew. And then at the 90 days, you would have to actually re-enroll to do that. But it's not, people always think that it's 90 days from when they officially cancel in the system. It's actually 90 days from the renewal date or the non-renewal date because they didn't renew. Now, if you physically go in and cancel, like you call up and actually cancel, even if it was say your renewal date was January 1st and you called up on February 15th and officially canceled, that would be your cancellation date because it didn't auto do it, and then you'd have to wait 90 days. But if you just let it go and just didn't do anything, it would be 90 days from January 1st.
Y'all, our customer service has got to get it together.
Well,
I think I was the one who I actually got, Shelly had my upline. I got her to message her BAM, and her BAM said the same thing customer service said. And I knew from what you said in the escape group, because I posted in there and you responded. And I was like, and I'm really detail oriented too. And I was like, I know I'm right. And they still, literally, we had to call customer service 400 times. And even Shelly's BAM was like, no, you can't. I'm just like,
Did you get it fixed?
No.
They never did it? Just, if you know you're right, just keep telling, can you ask a supervisor? Because I've had my BAM.
Because, I'm that kind of person. Like, when I know I'm right, I just keep going. But it just got to the point where we basically exhausted every effort, and I didn't want them to think that I was like being a turd. You know what I'm saying? It was just like ridiculous. But I knew I was right because I knew I'd posted in the group and you responded. I was like, I know this girl knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, I've had more than one fight with my BAM. He knows that. I'll say, somebody else's BAM said this and you said this. You guys need to figure it out. You go have a little meeting together and then get back with me with the right answer, and then make sure that they give them the right answer and make sure they match, because we're going to check. We all screenshot our BAM's answers.
It drives me crazy though, that, because I am very technical, to get, conflicting answers. So. Yeah.
Especially when something new comes out, it takes them a while. Like, I've actually talked to my BAM at events, and I'll say to him, how, when we get something new, do you guys not understand? And he's like, we find out when you find out. So when we're all waiting for the rules to show up in eSuite to tell us what the new promotion is, so is the BAM. And usually they're not in when the rules posted at 9 o'clock at night or whatever it was. And we've actually read them 25 times before the morning and know every question. They're walking into their desk with 400 emails saying this, and they're still sitting there trying to read it, So, that's why I asked him. He said sometimes they haven't made all those decisions. Like, those rules come out and all those technicalities that we all know to look for that word that means this and that word that's important. And we challenge them on exact wording. They learn pretty quickly to go clarify some of those things, because we all know when it says full calendar month or it says active this or whatever it might be, those words are really, really important.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that. That just drives me crazy because I'm very technical too, but they didn't get it. I just thought, you know what? I've got a business to run. It was draining my good energy. I was like, but anyway, so I just wanted to say that.
Customer service is great for what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be taking orders. They're not compensation, and that's not what they're there for. And so we have to be careful about, I always say customer service is like level 1, support tickets are level 2, BAMs are level 3, and is up at the top. And so, or compensation when they send it off to another department. So just make sure that whatever question you're asking, kind of go to the highest level you can get at that moment, is what I like to say. If you're a distributor, use a support ticket.
Right.
You're always going to get probably a better answer than you do calling customer service. And if you've got what was that?
And then it's in writing. I feel like, then it's in writing. Send it, unless it's like something pressing, you have to know right this minute, submit a ticket. I always feel like that's way better.
And whenever possible, if you do need to call customer service, do it on 3-way with your new distributor, your customer, your whatever. I will say hey, I'll call customer service and I'll call you as soon as they get on the line. They'll wait. I'll call customer service and say, hold on, I need to call my customer. And then I'll 3-way my customer in. They'll sit there and wait for you to have that conversation. And that way you're on the line and you can say, that's not right. Can we talk to a manager? Or we'll call back in a minute, and we'll call back till you get the right answer. I know it sounds like you did that and that didn't work. It doesn't always work, but I definitely, whenever possible, I want to be on the phone because I want to make sure I know what is being said. If it's something complicated, especially if it's a stressful thing, and it keeps your distributor or customer, especially your distributor, from waiting.
Keeps them happy.
You know, I can work my business and have my phone, you know, on speaker while I'm waiting for 2 hours for, you know, for them to pick up, and then I can three-way my person in if necessary.
All right. Well, it's been a long time here, and I appreciate your help so much. Don't we all think that we learned so much? I mean, I did. Again, now whether I retain it, that's a whole nother story. But we appreciate it so much.
Do your steps to success. If you just do that, you get it all.
That's exactly. And like Mackenzie Schultz always says, I know they'll pay me what they owe me, so that's all I really care about. But I think just maximizing cabs sometimes is just a key component, and that was part of it that I really wanted people to see, that if you have an LC that you can place somewhere that's really going to get you a cab, that's crucial, because you know, when you look at your commissions, your preliminaries, and you see what your diamond cabs are, you want that to go up, 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 and do whatever you can to maximize that. And if it's a 23 BVLC, that's a huge thing to do, you know?
Yeah, keeping it's like worth like $3.
Right.
So who cares? But it can be worth, you know, $50, you know, $100, $200 to not only yourself, your distributor, and teaching the duplication for the future.
Yes, exactly. All right, we will let you go. Thank you so much, Renee. And I appreciate all you do. Don't we love her?
Yes.
Thank you. We will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. I recorded this.
Thanks.
Bye. Take care.